Welcome to Good Morning Hospitality, your one-stop shop for the latest news, noteworthy trends, and thought-provoking discussions across the industry. From hotels and short-term rentals to all things travel and hospitality, you'll find each episode equips you with the information that you need to start your week. Join us on Good Morning Hospitality every Monday, wherever you get your podcasts.
Good morning. Dang it, Brandy.
Happy Monday.
It's the best day of the
week.
I'm stealing all of your lines today, Will.
I'm just not going to talk at all. I'll just sit here.
The best day of the week is my line. Don't let Will claim that.
Okay, I'm sorry. I'm stealing both.
Saying that for a decade.
Well, I'm going to make the t-shirt, so can I at least get some opportunity to say it?
I'll license it to you, Will.
Oh, thank God. All right. Thank you. I appreciate it.
Always in money-making mode.
Yes. We're all about that money.
Times are tough right now, you know? you gotta pinch every penny.
What did Rihanna say when she opened up the Super Bowl? What was that song? Have my money. You know what I'm saying?
I was on a plane during the Super Bowl,
Well, I guess I was the only one that's in tune with pop culture today, unlike you two. But it's good to see you guys again. As always, I love Mondays and soon to be Wednesdays, but it's always great to see your guys' face. How's the weekend?
It's good. I got a boat day in, so I got to work on my tan.
Classic Brandy. And never inviting us, never sends out the invite, nothing.
I mean, we do live on opposite sides of the country, so it's a little difficult.
Yeah, it's whatever.
We'll make that journey. Yeah, it's just too hot to do anything outside where I am. So tried to entertain a 4-year-old inside for most of the weekend. Not easy.
Man, you're living the complete opposite weekends over here for you two, but I love it. Well, I'm excited for this episode. We've been planning and mapping this out with the TravelNet team for a couple weeks and just had a great time with Ryan Bailey the first time we had him on the show, announcing the rented acquisition, which was super exciting. Again, big congrats to Andrew McConnell and the whole team over there. And the TravelNet team for acquiring the team, because just a great group of people that we all know and love. So before we jump into today's episode, we've always asked the question of, do you buy or do you build tech? And I know, Brandy, we've had a lot of fun. We had Jesse DePinto on talking about how they built tech. We've had a lot of other operators on who have either bought off the shelf or have built. And it's been really interesting to see the different perspectives. So we're going to jump into that today. But before we do, we have a quick announcement. And I want to know, Brandy or Michael, do you guys want to take it, or should I run it?
You've been cooking it up, so we'll let you take it.
All right. Well, we're announcing, if you love your Monday mornings with us, then you're going to love your Wednesday mornings with our new crew that is all about hotels. So Good Morning Hospitality is no longer just short-term rentals and travel. We are short-term rentals, hotels, travel, all the above. And we're announcing a whole new crew that will be live every Wednesday, 7 a.m. PST, 10 a.m. EST, with our one and only Steve Turk and Sarah Dandishi. They're going to join every Wednesday morning to cover the latest and greatest hotel news for all of hotel operators and obviously hospitality entrepreneurs. So we're really excited to welcome them to the Good Morning Hospitality family. So that's my very excited. It's been a lot to whip this up. So I'm very, very excited. And this Wednesday, so August 30th, will be the first episode with them.
Tune in.
Don't miss it. It'll be on the same RSS feed for anyone who's listening to the podcast and doesn't watch the lives. It'll be on the same feed, so you don't need to go anywhere to subscribe or to tune in. It'll be just dropped on the same place that you get our Monday show. And now for a quick shout out to our friends at Sojo, I want to say the wine boxes have been incredibly popular. I had coffee with Marsha here in Denver with Sojo. I think I told you guys this, and she was very excited about how many people loved our coffee box drop. And so I wanted to give a quick, or not coffee box, wow, wine box. Did I say coffee box? I think I said
you need coffee.
I need coffee for sure. But the wine box drop did really well. And so I wanted to give one of our listeners a shout out who sent me a video that she got her wine box about 2 or 3 days later after after submitting into the form. So Jelaine Smith, who is an operator, she sent a fun video of all the wine and basically said this was going to be gone within a day or two, that she was very excited. It's been a very busy summer for her operation, so we want to give her a big shameless shout out. And of course, if you are listening and want your own wine box, grab a link in the show notes and grab your own and tell Sojo that we have sent you there. So you guys ready to talk to Ryan Bailey? You guys ready to jump in?
Let's do it.
I feel like I've done all the talking now, so I need someone else to step.
Okay. It's your day.
I love it. All right, let's do a very big warm welcome for the one and only Ryan Bailey, CEO and co-founder of TravelNet Solutions.
Hey everyone, how you doing?
Doing
Hey,
good. Welcome back.
Well, thanks for having me. And exciting news about your expansion. Well done into hotels. Yeah,
Ryan, we're slowly growing. Just
Trying to be like you guys, hotels and
Yeah.
vacation rentals,
yeah.
Yeah.
I love it. I love it. Great job. Yeah, thanks for having me.
But before we dive into anything, we understand your birthday is tomorrow. So big happy birthday from the Good Morning Hospitality team.
Thank
Yes.
you. Thank you.
We're
Yeah,
gonna be sending you a nice mug and a t-shirt. So,
yeah,
happy birthday.
yeah. I appreciate it. Yeah, turning 43, so it's exciting times.
What better way than to celebrate with us?
Yeah. Amen.
Well,
I
put,
love
Randy.
it.
Awesome.
Well,
Well, we mentioned it in the pre-show, but we had, and it's a topic we discussed a lot on the show. We had Jesse DePinto on a month or two back talking about the build versus buy. Early days, front desk decided to build because at that time there wasn't a whole lot of robust solutions out there. We pushed back on him, and I think he conceded as well that if you started a business today, you're crazy to be building your own tech because the tech has progressed in such a good way. Help us understand when a big client comes to you and says, we're thinking of just building our own PMS. What do you tell them?
Yeah, we have many of those conversations. Have had them. I think with the capital coming in and investors coming into the B2B, the tech side, I think it's those conversations are simmering quite a bit. The tech is much stronger, more robust, like you said, today than even it was 3, 4, 5 years ago. So the product, the engineering, I think when people it sounds good, like, hey, let's go build your own tech. But I always start to ask the question, like, if you look at it, you're a Fortune 100 company. Are they going to go build their own Salesforce? Are you going to go build your own accounting? Like, what advantage do you get to go build your own Workday software, your own ERP? How are the businesses that different? I think that starts to fuel a lot of the good conversation we start with the enterprise customers.
Yeah,
go ahead.
We saw Sonder and Vacasa, try and promote themselves as tech forward businesses to try and get that tech multiple. But when you're cleaning toilets and checking guests in, it's not a tech company,
right?
And unless they're out scaling their software and selling it to a third party, it's never going to be a tech company. Mm-hmm. And to your point of, you guys invest millions and millions of dollars a year into bettering your software. It just doesn't make sense for people to try and build their own.
Well, you think about it, if you're a hotel resort, or, you look at the massive hotel resort companies, they didn't build their own. Marriott didn't go build their own property managed software, their own ERP, they didn't go build their own CRM. And, even today, as you start to look at, you've got all these great challenges that you have to work on, your employees, your guests, and your owners. You have everything you can do in labor just to support that business. Then you're going to go and build a whole R&D and do SOC 1, SOC 2 compliance, PCI, GDPR, and now artificial intelligence, the next big the next big super cycle in business and tech, and you're going to keep up with that.
Maintain all the integrations
Right.
regularly, right?
I think it's a much bigger challenge today than I think maybe it did make sense. You look at some of those companies that tried to do it, 7, 10, 12 years ago. I just don't think it makes financial sense. I think it's a big culture shock to the organization too, as you scale.
Yeah, I think part of the problem is that, if you're an operator trying to raise money, potentially from experience, even though we're not tech companies, the investors want to see that you have proprietary tech. And so I think that that's also a driver. Even though all the things you just said, like all of those compliance things you have to go through and the maintenance, I don't think it makes financial or operational sense. But if you're trying to get that next round, I think people are willing to do a lot to get that money.
Right.
Answer the what's your secret sauce question.
Yeah. And I see that. I think as an operator, I think there's certain tools that you can build that could be a part of your secret sauce, that you don't have to go build the Oracle ERP, the core, but I think there are different modules or advantages you could build that could be a part of your secret sauce on how you keep owners really happy or the retention high. Because ultimately, that's the great equalizer is owners. Can you retain your owners? Can you build new, grow those owners, keep those owners happy, and put guests in their homes, or condos or hotels.
Amen. Well, one of my favorite things when it comes to technology and like the conversation of it, especially at conferences, and we're hearing a lot of people always asking like, what's your tech stack? What's this? And when it comes to tech, it's my especially around the property management software piece. I think it's super funny how some people maybe think one piece of software or a property management software is better than the other, when in reality, I think a lot of operators don't really go deep with their property management software and know how to actually fully use it. So it's like, oh, well, I don't know how to fully use it, and it's kind of clunky and this and that. And that's a case for a lot of people, maybe not the case for everyone, but for you, I guess, what would you say, like, obviously you have the hospitality hub and you integrate all of the TravelNet solutions into one piece. And so I guess my question, instead of an operator building their own property management software, where do you think there's an opportunity for them to integrate within tech companies like you if they wanted to have their own proprietary tech like you were just talking about? Or do you think that they should just bring it up to the chain of command within your guys' company, and hopefully it'll be on the pipeline in the future?
Yeah, it's a great thought. It's a great question. When we started architecting and building this platform, our mindset was like, yeah, we want to build the enterprise platform. And it's, the enterprise, they don't necessarily just buy products, they buy a platform. And so I think the great platforms are the one that have a really strong, ecosystem. So we're going to build a great housekeeping and maintenance app within Track, but also we're going to be flexible. And, because I just admire, I bring up Salesforce a lot, or Workday. I admire some of these great forward-looking tech companies that really revolutionized the way that you went to market. And what I mean by that is, you can build your own good products that you have in your own modules, but being open across the entire industry where people can plug and play, I think is a differentiator that got us to where we're at. And we're grateful. And we believe that's going to continue to be a key driver for us, is our partner network over the next decade. And so what that means to the operator is, let's say they have a unique workflow in a tool set that they've built to handle, let's say, housekeeping or maintenance or owners, and it's something that they think is a part of their secret sauce. Well, they could build right into our API and be able to use their tool and use a lot of our tools. So I think being open and flexible, and I think it keeps us innovating. I think it keeps us hungry, right? And I think if you're a closed system, I think the danger in that is you can get complacent and become hubris. And so I love the ideas like, yeah, we're going to go build the best revenue management system with rented, bring it into a single pane of glass, consolidate the technology footprint, but we still want all the other revenue management systems, and we're not going to shut those things off. We're going to keep it all open and keeps the market competitive, keeps our customers feeling that they have the options. I think that's important.
Yeah, I think as an operator who has kind of very publicly jumped ship 4 times from PMS to PMS, one of having certain modules that you've really perfected is great, but then it would make me feel very anxious if I couldn't choose the things that I rely on or have the ability to be flexible and try other options, especially because the PMS is that's the core, right? That needs to be your strongest base. So having that flexibility would give me a lot more comfort as an operator that I can still be flexible with the way I run my business or the other programs that I want to try. And you're not locked in, because I think when you're choosing a PMS or any sort of big software like that, the complacency is scary because you want to be committed to that partner for a long time, even though I haven't necessarily done that, but you want to make sure that that's
Yeah.
the choice you're making. And if you're like, wow, they're not really doing anything to improve themselves, that's a scary commitment to make.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, agreed. Well, go ahead.
So Ryan, our discussions on build versus buy as it comes to PMCs with software, but you guys also have to have a build versus buy versus integrate discussion internally. How does that process work? Do you start with an integration and end up opportunistically buying one like rented? Or when do you know that you should just build it on your own and offer that free within your software, or not free, but as part of your software?
Yeah, it's something we're always looking at. I mean, we're continually looking at it. And I think a lot of it comes from our customers, right? And to me, when we talk to our customers, and sometimes even in opportunities where they can't necessarily see around the corners, so we have to innovate in a way to help our customers. But I think that comes from the feedback. A lot of it comes from our customers is, what's the system of record? What's critical to their business? And we think about that because we can't build everything right away. There's always different chapters in the story. And so we have to be cognizant that, we can't build it and we can't buy everything right away. And I think both of them, are true, and they're both good, that you can build and only build, or you can buy. I just think when you're buying, there's so much more than just integrating the tech. We're all human beings. I think culture plays such a huge important to that. And that's aspect to that when we're building versus buying is culture, and everything that we built at TravelNet Solutions, I think is a big part of that. So I think both are right, and both can be used to grow a company and make the customers more successful. But I think when we look at it, it's what are the mission critical pieces of the workflows and work streams that our customers are using, and we try to really solve those problems. And if we can buy something, as an example, rented, well, geez, if we're going to go, we know revenue management coming into inflation and the crises that in the challenges, like we thought and we believe pricing and revenue management is just a critical core component to our customers, and they have to be thinking about their pricing. And so we wanted to ensure that we gave our customers a fully integrated solution, single pane of glass into the Track platform. But if you build it, hey, to build what Andrew or any of these companies have been doing, you take 2-3 years to go build something like that. And there's still 2-3 years ahead of you. So, you got to think through all of that and lay it out in a whiteboard and map it out. And there's costs and there's culture and there's just a lot to it. Because you can take money and go buy a bunch of companies. And I think that necessarily, I don't know how valuable that is to the end customer. And, great, I have 7 different softwares that I offer to my customer, but they're still logging in and out of them. They're just financially been engineered in a way to be a conglomerate, as opposed to, are you really building a beautiful net new innovation machine for your customer? So longer answer to it, but we get pretty passionate about when we start talking about building or buying to the tool set.
And so, kind of in that vein of what's on the roadmap, if you're able to tell us, track kind of skews more towards the traditional vacation rental, single family homes. Do you have anything on the roadmap that might appeal to urban operators or kind of, touch on that segment?
Yeah, we have a customer. We've started to move more and more into that. I mean, obviously, our focus has always been we wanted to, in our world, we wanted to focus in on enterprise operators, and so we kind of pride ourselves in that we have the most companies that over 300, plus units on the track platform. So we build to that. It's a very unique customer segment based on their needs. And that has started to move into some of the urban markets. There weren't a lot of companies that had 2, 3, 4, 500 units in these urban markets. So it's taken them some time to grow. But there's a company, Arriva, that is in Cleveland and Minneapolis, actually, a few properties that's on the track platform and growing real nicely and several hundred units. So we're going to continue to expand into urban markets. And there's this whole world of hospitality convergence. With COVID hitting, people want to get into the vacation rental space. So you're seeing these large hotel resort operators or these independent hotels and resorts expanding their product lines in these secondary, tertiary destinations and expanding into vacation rentals, or vacation rentals expanding into like V-Trips buying resort collection in the Panhandle, or condo hotels. So we're seeing this blend of, I would say, hey, our focus, we're going to be an accommodation platform. We want to be able to handle multiple different types of products, because I think that's where the future's headed for the great operators, the ones that are really the ones that are going to lead the industry.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
would say the Marriotts of the world crossing into our territory is something that kind of keeps me up at night. But
Yeah.
we'll see how that goes down the
40
line.
was it 44% of hotels under construction right now from the major flags are extended stay or suite style hotels. So they're seeing the same thing that you're just talking about, and they're putting a lot of money behind it. So
Yeah.
um, that must be the future.
Yeah, you'll hear more about that on our bonus episode coming out September 1st. But Ryan, I really respect you as an entrepreneur, just hearing your history and how you've built TravelNet. And I know you founded it with your brother. And so kind of in the sense of the entrepreneurial vein, a lot of our listeners who are either tuning into live now or listening to the replay on the audio version want to kind of know like the ins and outs of tech companies, and a lot of them are operators and CEOs and entrepreneurs themselves. So I'm kind of always curious, and one of my favorite questions to ask is kind of like, if you could go back knowing what you know now, is there anything you would do differently building TravelNet? Because I know you guys started out, I think, mostly with hotels and resorts as kind of the accommodation provider you're trying to hit, and then now obviously the big offering that you guys have with Hospitality Hub, Track, your distribution hub, all the stuff that you guys have done, the acquisition of Rented, very, very much a big scale. So anything that you go back and like just knowing everything you have today, that you would just like, oh, maybe this one thing we would change.
Yeah, I 100%. I think for me in our company, I think if I could go back, and when I was, sometimes you can't see it when you're 20, 21, 22 years old. And but for me, investing in team coaching and investing in our leadership and team coaching was something I'm like, man, I wish we would have done that, 20 years ago. Maybe some entrepreneurs can build a company that much more quickly and reach that level of success. Took us, 20-year overnight success story, so it took us a long time to do it. And I think it's all about relationships, right? And so for me, just being humble about it, I'm like, okay, if I could look in the mirror, be honest with myself, it's like I could have used some better leadership coaching, team coaching earlier on in my career, Will, and develop earlier around this idea and mindset is like, you can really get whatever you want in life if you help enough people get what they want. And that's my whole mantra is, everything I do, everything that I compose is all about helping the customer serve my customer and get what they want. And it's all about delivering. And so some of that part of our culture in the earlier days would have been something that if I could go back, I'd integrate that more.
Is there anything you'd do the same?
Yeah, I mean, what I wouldn't change, I'd continue to do it is, it's just hard. It's hard to stick with something. The stickability. I love stickability. Stickability and the ingenuity and the innovation and the tenacity. It's hard building companies. It's real hard. And to stick with it, that's all over our culture, right? We're not done. We're hungry, humble, we're smart. And I love that a part of TNS, and
I think you just struck a chord with all three of us. We're all like,
Yeah,
building
I
a
have to
company is hard.
yeah.
I just on the 26th was 7 years at Romy, and so I which was crazy. And so I think like you've been on this journey for 20 years and you've stuck with it, and I've had the thought like, wow, I've been with this company for 7 years. I've helped build it, and you're like, how long does this journey go for? And obviously you never can predict the future,
Mm.
but it's great to see someone who's really stuck with it through the whole process and the whole journey. And I also really resonated with me about like the leadership coaching and team coaching and all of that, because I think back on our earlier days, and that wasn't even a thought because
Mm.
we were just trying to get through the day. And there's some people that kind of like phased out of the company that maybe if they had some more coaching or training or just like been prodded to think in a different way, could have grown with the company. So that really struck a chord with me.
Yeah. Yeah. Just one thing I'll say is sometimes I look back in that 20 years and there was some really amazing talent that came along. Like, man, if I would have had some better leadership coaching, I think could have helped them see that potential and accelerate that, and would have benefited our customers that much more and our people. So, yeah, I resonate with that one too.
Did you pick up the term stickability from the Cowboys? That sounds like a football term.
Maybe I did. But
I wrote it down. It's going into my dictionary. That's forever going to be a word I'm using now.
I don't know. I run 5-6 days a week, so I listen to podcasts in my run, and I heard it on a podcast, and it just sometimes words or themes just like they strike a chord right into your heart, and I'm just like, that's a big, it's stickability, to stick with something, never give up, because man, a lot of times in 20 years, you're like, how in the world are we going to scale this thing? And our customers always need more. It's like you're in that constantly. So
Survive in advance.
Yeah, I love that. Yeah, survive in advance.
Well, one more question for you. I know we're running a little up on time here, but with conference season around the corner, I know you guys have your own coming up as well. Putting AI aside, what's the top one or two themes you think will headline the conference season across the industry?
I think everyone's going to be talking about AI and
put that aside.
No, I think I do. I think that hospitality convergence and the expansion in the vacational industry is not the cottagey industry that I think, at least for me, I grew up in, and it's become much more professionalized. I think a big theme is, I don't want to touch AI, but a lot of it is you start looking at like, it's always going to be a continued challenge is labor and the shortage of labor and regulation. I think that's always on the top of operators' minds. Anytime I'm talking to customers, it's something they're always talking about in the boardrooms, and regulation and labor and people, and so I think that continues to be a big theme for our operators that are in it every day. They're grinding and in it every day.
I think one of my favorite things from this whole episode is that we're kind of talking about building a tech company. And Ryan, I think you've talked about the people and the culture more than the tech, which I think just speaks volumes on that tech is not just tech. Like it still needs to be built. It still needs to change. It still needs to innovate. It still needs to grow and then be implemented. So I think, yeah, I'm just like listening to this whole conversation over and over in my head and just hearing like, man, people is constantly being brought up. And I think that's just not maybe what listeners or I even expected coming into this conversation, right? Like I was like expecting maybe you can get into the nitty gritty of building the tech, but it sounds like the people are what makes the whole thing possible. So it sounds like, I think from the 20 years of experience that's really stuck, that the stickability of people has been really important throughout the whole journey of TravelNet.
Yeah. Well, and I think too, at least for us, we talk about this a lot with our prospects and our customers is you can build the greatest tech in the world and it's got the fastest spin wheel and all this beautiful, but at the end of the day, if you don't adopt it and use it, you know, that's a great challenge. And if you're a large organization, you need people. It's not just buying enterprise tech, it's buying an enterprise company that has the right people that know how to help you know your business. Like, do they literally know how you make money? Do they know your work streams and your workflows? That's so much more important than anyone just going and looking at, hey, does it do this feature? Does it do this? And you want to play in the enterprise. So much of it is around those people, making sure that you get the most out of the tool set.
I love that. Well, last time you were on, we did a rapid fire round of questions, and I know it's probably Michael Golden's favorite thing with guests. Michael, do you want to do a rapid fire today, or are we?
I got one question.
All right.
Yes, sir.
If we're going to send you, or you're a client of yours, a Sojo wine box, who would you like that wine box to go to?
Well, there's many that I would like to go to in lieu of many of our customers that are in Hawaii and Maui. One of them that I'd love to send it to is Alan and his amazing team at Castle Hotels and Resorts in lieu of the fires in Maui. So yeah.
Perfect. Well,
I appreciate
the Sojo team will whip that up.
We'll get that out to them.
That's beautiful. Thank you.
Love it.
Appreciate you joining. It's a pleasure as always. This is a topic that is a very regular thing for us on the show. We touched on, of course, the build versus buy, but also the convergence of hospitality. We avoided AI today. That's probably its own whole discussion.
Yeah.
That's probably too cerebral for at least the three of us on this show. But yeah, appreciate you joining. Excited to see what's to come and what decisions you guys make on the build versus buy versus integrate front as well.
Awesome. Well,
and Will's got a new word too. So we've already heard stickability out of Will's mouth once. I promise it won't be the last. But happy birthday.
Thank you for having me on. It's always a pleasure.
Well, for all of our listeners and live viewers, you can also hear the word stickability being used at your guys' conference called Next, happening in September. We got September 24th through the 27th in Minneapolis. So I know I will be there, and found out since that Brandy can't join me on the show, I'm going to bring old TravelNet employee, Jenny Randolph, who's our COO at hospitality.fm, is going to be joining us. So we'll be broadcasting live and getting to chat with you, Ryan, and the whole TNS crew. So I'm really, really excited to be there, and we're thankful to be part of the conference. So it's going to be fun to hear. I want you to drop stickability at least once on stage, please.
Yeah, I will. My opening, I'll drop it. You know,
perfect.
And we'll follow up after the show about our secret additional episode that we'll do with you later this year.
I love it.
Yeah.
That'd be great.
Awesome. Well, thanks again, Ryan. And for all of our live viewers, make sure you like and subscribe everything TravelNet Solutions. You can find Ryan also on LinkedIn. I think we're all very big LinkedIn fans on this show. So make sure you follow, like, and subscribe. And as always, we'll see you on Wednesday and next week.